Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you? I hope all is well with you. I hope you're doing fine. This is Teacher Kaitesi. So, my message today is about you really forgiving and getting past everything that has already happened to you. Yes, people were unjust. People did very many unjust things to you. Okay? And so many of these things are going to be revealed to us in dreams. We're going to see them. Everything that happened to you is going to be openly revealed. Some of these things you already knew, some you didn't know how they happened, but you're going to see everything during this time. As it clears out, you're going to see it. Now, it's not for you to get angry and like go back to being pissed off and, because every time we get angry, I know how we get angry, we go back and do something crazy. So this is not that. If something happens and something is revealed to you, yes, you can be sad, yes, you can be angry, but just like quickly get over it, because know that it is only clearing. It's clearing out of your energy. Okay? So do your best to just let it go. Just see it, understand who did it, and then let it go. Okay? So I'm going to tell you this story. A couple of years ago, around 2014, I was still drinking alcohol. So every time for me I drank alcohol, it's like literally I left my body and something else took over. Literally. And this thing that took over used to have its own friends. Used to have its own own life, used to have its own ways, which had nothing to do with me. So much so that I would meet people and they know me and they're talking to me during the day and I wouldn't know them. Like I had no clue who they are. And I would even look at them and think, why would I be friends with this kind of person? How did I even become a friend to this kind of person? But these are the kind of people that I would meet when I was drunk. And these are the people that I would make friends with. Very weird characters, like really weird characters. Literally people that can murder you or choke you or, do something bad. Thieves, terrible people. And so I always wondered about it. So one time, in like 2015, I was asleep. I had gone out, of course, got drunk. But then I always made it back home. Whatever happened, but I always made it back to my place. So I go out, as usual, get drunk, that thing takes over. And then the next morning, like a neighbor is knocking at my door. And then I woke up, but I was above my mosquito net and I was looking down at myself in the net. And I remember thinking, that is me sleeping. And then I became aware of the fact that I should go back into my body. Then I remember this spirit told me that thing has gone. That thing that disturbs you has gone. Now you can safely go back. So I wake up into my body. Then I go to open for my neighbor. But then after that I thought about it. Then I thought, how could I see myself outside of my own body? Was I dead? What had happened? So I thought about it. But then later I learned about astral travel and how sometimes we run away from our own temple, this body. Like you run away from it because of what's happening to you. That spirit comes in and takes over and you leave. And then you come back later. I learned about this much later, as part of my learning. So I always wondered who put that thing inside me. I've been asking spirit, who put that thing inside me? That literally it would take over and I would leave and it would do whatever it wants with my body. And then after the alcohol wears off, it would leave and then I would come back in. Okay? So I wondered about that. Now, last night I had this dream. I see this demon, a male demon, I see it. And then my grandfather, my mom's father, used to practice witchcraft. That's the guy that used to practice in my family. And you see, for me, why I'm so not into church these days is because he was a church priest. He was a priest who even where he stayed before in Uganda, he's the one who helped people build the church. He's the one who used to carry on the services, baptisms, everything. You can't imagine. Can you imagine? The people in the area knew him as a very religious man. But this guy used to practice magic, dark magic, okay? So I see my grandfather, and then I see this female demon, and it's trying to fight with me. So he tells me, fight against it. Fight against it. It's the only way it will go. And as I'm fighting against it, he's the one that is telling me to fight against it, and he's not helping. And so as I'm fighting against it, it goes into me, and when it went inside me, I came out of my body, and I watched myself with it inside me. And I remember in the dream saying, so this is how this thing inhabited my body. So what would happen every time I would drink alcohol? That thing was set up on me. It was always around me. That demon was always around me. So whenever it needed to feed, whenever it needed alcohol, it was a family demon that they had summoned and given it me as the temple for it to dwell in. So every time I would get drunk, it would come into me, and me, I would leave, and it would do whatever it wanted with me. Okay? I met people in Uganda who sometimes, like days, they would tell me, you know, the other day you told me this and this, and I would not know what they're talking about. There's a time I even went to this church where this pastor told me that you don't know yourself, but when you're drunk, you even give people. So I was saying, so a couple of years ago, I did meet a pastor, and he looked at me in church and he told me, you know, you don't know yourself. Sometimes when you're drunk, you even give people messages from the other side. And that was the first man that had ever, a priest for me, who has ever looked at me and known that truth. Because that thing I had never told it to another person. And I looked at him, and after service I talked to him, and he said, yeah. He said, but it's going to leave you. It's going to leave, and it's your family members that put it there, you know. So personally, when I would drink my own alcohol, I would never even finish a bottle of alcohol. I always ended up sleeping halfway and putting it there, and that was it. But when this thing was drinking, it would take such large amounts. So I had never understood its actual size. But last night, I saw its actual size. It was a huge, huge man. So I had this thing that would take over my body and go and live its own night, and then leave, and then I come back in. So brothers and sisters, we are going through a time of reveal. Spirit told me it's called a time of reveal. Okay? So you're going to see so many things in your dreams. You're going to see things that are unbelievable, and you're going to feel really bad to know who did it to you. Because my grandfather, you know, if someone else, if like people outside describe him to you, you would think he was an angel, you would think he was a saint. And yet this guy is the one who put this thing inside me. So I woke up feeling this sadness, you know. So I woke up feeling really, really sad today. Just knowing, just seeing him being the one that did it, you know. And you can't imagine the time I lived with him. My mom took me there to live with him, and I was turning 7. So I turned 7 when I was living with my grandparents until I was 12. That's when I left. So you imagine that this old man put this demon in me when I was between the age of 7 and 12. These people are not, you know, brothers and sisters. Like, don't get angry like excessively and do something bad, you know. Anyway, so Spirit basically says all these things are going to be revealed to you. You're going to know who did it. It will hurt. You always knew it was your families that did these things, but you just didn't really know the detail. So the details are going to be revealed to you. Just don't do anything crazy, okay? Like, don't try and go back there. Don't try and go and try to assure anyone. Just stay away. Just be, you know, you'll be okay. You just be temporarily sad, and the Spirit will comfort you, and you'll be fine. But we're just going to know many things. Like, many things are going to be revealed to us during this time. But that's just so that we can get over it, okay? So I just didn't want to go for my classes before I had given you guys this message, because I didn't think I would be able to stay with it inside me the whole day. So just prepare that you're going to know everything that happened, everything that you didn't really understand how it happened. You're going to see how you were set up. You're going to see, because this old man set me up to fight against this demon, and he knew he's the one who had summoned it, and he behaved like I could fight it, yet he knew that that is how it was going to enter me. So this is the time of the reveal, so just be kind to yourself. Do just what you need to do. What you don't need to do, don't get into it, and just don't go back there. Don't try and go back there to try and get an explanation. Don't try and go back to ask them. Don't bother. There's nothing. One day you will really see who they are. But for now, just get the information and, try and just receive it, know it, and get over it, okay? I'm sure I will get over it too. It's just sad to know that you lived your whole life and you are just surrounded by people that were always plotting and doing things against you. That's the sadness that I got, that heavy sadness of knowing that even when these were elders around me that I respected, that I loved, they were all doing these things against me, So, to these people, we are not children. Even when we are small, we are not children. We are not people to love. We are not people to take care of. We are people to use. From when they receive us, from even before we are born, they have already started using us before we are born. Okay, so by the time we are born, that's why we stay with relatives. We stay here, we stay with this aunt, we stay with that uncle, we stay everywhere. There's always a good reason to move us around, as the whole family gets to use you until they send you to the other people who aren't even your family and such. So you were used, but the good thing is you always had the Most High with you, and everything that they did, the Most High wipes away clean, and you restart. So that's what I had come to tell you guys. May the Most High continue to protect you. Stay well.